Imagine walking into a palace where art and history come together, where every corner you turn is a moment in history that tells a story in the way of art. That's exactly what the Louvre Museum is, a place of beauty and human creativity. The Louvre Museum was a very inspirational stop in our multitude of attractions we visited in France. Like many other like many of my other peers, this experience for me was very enlightening during our travels, and was surely one of I will remember for a lifetime. In order to affirm the significance of the Louvre Museum, I'll be going over a few key points that highlighted France for me. I'll be explaining the historic background of the Louvre, why it is such a huge tourist attraction, and the architecture that encompasses and entails the Louvre Museum. The Louvre attracts tourists from all over the world with a combination of history and modernization involved with the museum. The museum is a place for everyone. While walking the halls, not only was I looking at the art, but also the people inside the Louvre. There are preschoolers as well as senior citizens and all ages in between. There's also people who come from different cultures, also varying in age, even now in the digital era, a time that allows us to view whatever piece of history from the palm of our hands. Nothing is quite like the real deal, of course. The Louvre Museum would attract tourists from all over the world. There is no experience like being in the present place where these pieces have withstood the test of time for hundreds of years. To support this argument, a quote from the Louvre, The Authenticity of the Museum Experience in Digital Age, The Case of the Louvre, claiming that the article aims at enriching the contemporary discussion on the artworks, or and authenticity of cultural experience in digital age. Even now, in a time where we have virtual museum tours at a click, still the Louvre Museum holds its merit like no other. Even though this museum should be appreciated in a real-world setting, still it's highly beneficial that the Louvre Museum does, however, make it possible for tourists to still visit the museum from the comfort of their own home through virtual tours. The architecture surrounding, as well as comprising the Louvre Museum, not only depicts the royal palace but also the iconic glass pyramid. There is a prevalent intrinsic value displayed through the innovation and tradition seen at the Louvre architect from within and outside, which emphasizes the growth that Paris has gone throughout the last few centuries. As soon as I left the metro, the first thing that caught my eye was the palace, and I continued walking through the entrance, and the next big thing I noticed was the glass pyramid. Alongside the architecture, the Louvre Museum playing a crucial role in its iconic and enduring stature, the layout is one of subject of discourse. The reason for this is, despite the architecture for the museum, the inside layout could potentially be scrutinized by its short walk and big town feel due to the layout spreading out most of the big art pieces in randomized area. This made me feel like I didn't have enough time to visit all the attractions I wanted to. To support my argument with this, in the article Analysis of Visitors' Mobility Pattern Through a Random Walk in the Louvre Museum, this quote is made: due to the limited time budgets available, the short stay visits could only must-see exhibits. The architecture of the museum is undoubtedly influential. However, the layout only allows for a quick walk-through, though if one is on time constraint as I was, and I would have very much enjoyed the ability to spend more time there. The Louvre Museum is a place where history is around and inside of it. The historic background of the Louvre first intrigued me when I found out it was one of the royal palaces, that a place where the king once ruled is now a museum of art. While walking through a museum of timeless pieces of art who people can only dream of seeing was breathtaking. An interesting observation I made while at the Louvre Museum is that some of the art attractions differ in the sense that there are classical pieces and that there are pieces that have been there for hundreds of years, as well as more modern contemporary art. An example of this sentiment that supports my claim is a quote that comes from the reaction of visitors to contemporary art in a classical art institution at Louvre Museum case study. A quote from this article: for contemporary art, love of unfamiliar with the classical institution, but experts in today's art, the museum reasserts in its status as one of the key institutions in the field of art. Historically speaking, the Louvre Museum was renowned for its classical art influence. However, a contemporary addition to the exhibit also adds a new kind of light that impacts its attraction carries. In conclusion, the Louvre Museum was the most influential and impactful places we toured while visiting France for me. The Louvre Museum stands as a landmark of astonishing art and history, combining all periods of art and history. As visitors wander the halls of the specific museum, they are astounded by its beauty they witness. They participate by walking through a timeline of history. As if they had emerged into the art, the Louvre is still a magical destination with its undeniable charm.